We'll let the gente repopulate.
While we're waiting, what was the answer to the question of who?
Yeah, I was gonna call on you, Desert and Billy, whenever Billy's back on here. The question was, you introduce yourself and tell us what you would get at the taco shop.
I usually get tacos
Any
cabeza.
taco shop, I guess, a hypothetical taco shop, not the taco shop. Pardon that. So we'll start with you, Desert.
I usually get tacos cabeza.
Popular choice. That's three. Go for that. Billy, you there? Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you get when you go to a taco shop?
Hi, everyone. I'm Billy. And I'm not going to say this is my normal order, but I was just today thinking about what are those called? Like tacos dorados, like with papas, fritos. That's been on my mind today.
All right. Exotic.
Right?
Exotic. The fried potatoes. With that, I think let's turn it over to you, Patricia.
Sounds good, thanks. I'm gonna share my screen except for I can't. I don't know who needs to give me permission, but that would make this easier.
Let me try and do that. Sorry about that.
Presidente has to give permission.
Computer. Huh.
It's not like the hugest deal. Anyway, I can just keep talking while you figure that out. But as I mentioned at the beginning, I am here to speak with you all, lovely people of Dunbar Spring, on behalf of Women's Streets Alliance, because we are looking at bringing cyclovia to your neighborhood for the first time. I think a number of you know about cyclovia, have participated in one, but if anyone doesn't, basically it's a biannual event where we shut down a number of, you
Should be ready now. Yeah.
Okay. It's an event that happens biannually where we shut down a number of miles of the street to cars for the day so that folks can walk and bike and basically have a big block party. This is a completely new route that we've never done before, and it starts in Dunbar. We've met with the Dunbar Pavilion folks and are looking to create an activity hub there. So activity hub is basically just what we call where all of the stuff is concentrated. So like music, art, food vendors, a lot of community organizations come out and do different activities, or it's, yeah, convergence of a lot of things happens. But I can just walk you through the route a little bit. So Dunbar Spring will be the southernmost point. We can talk a little bit more about like what exactly that will mean traffic-wise in a second, but moving northwards from there, we kind of split off there just north of Speedway, and then we head towards Barrio Blue Moon, Escare Park, Tucson House, that area, it will be a hub. And then we move up into Old Pascua, which will also have a hub, and then over to Mansfield Park, where bikers will also be doing like a block party kind of off of the main hub drag. And then south on 6th, heading over on Drachman, and then Pima Community College will be our other partner. So really the goal of cyclovia is a lot of things, but one of the most important things is that it's reflective of the neighborhoods that are hosting it. So I wanted to talk with you all early to let you know that this is happening and hopefully do some brainstorming with y'all about some fun activities or activations that we could think about doing in and around Dunbar. In the past, neighborhoods have sort of like come together to do their own like mini offshoot block parties. So I had the thought of maybe we could like informally or de facto close off University as well, just to kind of like make that a nicer corridor and like entry point. But yeah, nothing's set in stone yet. We're still working on barricade plans. You'll all be getting mailers and there'll be yard signs and all of that. So hopefully no one will be surprised on the day of, it's a Sunday. Oh, you can't see, Sunday, October 30th, the day before Halloween. Hopefully no one will be surprised that the roads are closed. And if they are, we leave major crossings open. So probably Speedway or Coldstone. Those you'll still be able to pass in a car, or if it's an emergency and you need to get to your house in a vehicle. There'll be volunteers at every intersection that can help guide you there. Yeah, any questions? Thoughts?
That's exciting. I think that's cool. Great
Yeah.
to get you guys in the neighborhood. Certainly is both a bike friendly neighborhood and a victim of a lot of bike thievery. So I don't know how that reflects.
Aren't they all? Yeah.
But Karen, looks like you got a question.
Just a quick, so while a lot of folks from here have definitely participated in cyclovias in the past and have biked to them, a lot of people don't bike to, from other parts of town don't bike to them. And so what's the thought on especially if Dunbar Pavilion is like, it's a solid point that people could be like, oh, there's a parking lot there, like what's the plan for parking?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, so that'll come together a little bit more as things get fleshed out. You all are like some of the first people I'm talking to, just because it's like literally your neighborhood. But we usually put out a lot of information about obviously bus routes and other ways to get there, and then we identify parking garages and other just like open parking lots that are open on Sundays in the general vicinity, and make a list of those places for people. And then if you all have ideas about like areas of your neighborhood or around your neighborhood that might be a suitable place for folks to park, we can kind of direct them there. And like I said, we can de facto close off university or whatever areas you think might be like a problem. We can work together on the parking plan basically, but we just try to get as much information out there as possible beforehand so that folks plan ahead to not drive, or at the very least carpool, because it's going to be annoying for them too, regardless.
Lisa points out that Sunday the church will be active in the AM. That's a very good point, Lisa.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you all if you had contacts at the church. The Dunbar folks did not, the coalition folks, that is. And I sent them a letter, and we'll be going door to door because this often happens. There's often churches on the route. So figuring out, how to give them access points, and then also invite them to come participate after services. But if anyone has contacts or advice on connecting, that would be great.
I do not have contacts, Patricia, but there's actually a couple churches right there. So
yeah,
it's worth thinking about. Natasha.
So my question is, or my suggestion for parking would be to Pima Community College has tons of parking lots. It seems like that would be like if they would designate some of their parking lots where they're not having the hub, that seems to make sense.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm meeting with their facilities folks in a couple of weeks. We'll be having the hub probably on the north parking lot right there bordering Dropman, but you're right, there's like all of those other areas.
All the ones on Stone.
Yeah, exactly. And that's definitely walkable from Dunbar too. So
Yeah, and there's a crossing.
Yep.
Down and whatnot. So
totally.
What?
But I don't know if people are am I supposed to be calling on people, or are you calling?
Karen, why don't we go to you? I'm not sure if Natasha still has it.
Sorry. So I'm just also thinking about, again, previous cyclovias and routes. So we've got the train at like 4th, 5th. You've got but the road, I'm assuming, is not, I don't know where the road is going to be closed. So if it's not closed at 6, then you're gonna have people that are coming up, they're gonna cross the train tracks, the road's gonna be closed, and the only place to go is in our neighborhood.
Right. Yeah, it's generally a few blocks out barricaded, and then also on major sort of like bottlenecks like that, the Department of Transportation will usually put out variable message boards, like even a couple weeks in advance, letting folks know. So we'll have a lot of signage out, and I don't make the barricade plans because I'm not a barricading professional, but they all get reviewed by city professionals who've been doing cyclovia for like 10 years. So hopefully we'll catch those types of things, but I will definitely put that on the list of things to bring up next time we meet.
Babs.
I think, Patricia, thanks for coming. What kind of activities, you mentioned that like neighborhood activities, what kind of things have neighborhoods done in the past?
Yeah, it's really a range. I've seen often like when it comes through folks' neighborhoods or different to neighborhoods, they'll just kind of bring out like games into the streets and kind of just have like a community block party. People do some creative things. I think it will be fun this time because of like the Halloween theme. So I think there's a lot of fun places to go with that potentially. But yeah, it's really, I mean, it's up to y'all. I know there's a lot of like different groups doing interesting things in Dunbar, and a lot of like interesting history that we want to showcase leading up to and, you know, day of. So I think, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for using it like as an educational site in a lot of ways for, you know, green infrastructure and whatnot. But you can, if you have ideas and you're like, would this work? Just, you can contact me. I can put my email in the chat and then folks can just hit me up.
That's great. Thank you. Any other questions for Patricia? All right. Well, thank you so much for joining, Patricia, and we'll keep in touch, I'm sure, and look forward to hearing maybe, I don't know if we plan to have you on the agenda again, but it would be great to get another update, you know, closer to the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll pass along like updated flyers and things as that happens too. And then the request for contacts extends to anyone in the neighborhood you think I should be talking to. Or if there's like musicians in the neighborhood or people who have food trucks, we'll want to make sure to, you know, let them know, get them out there. So just as things pop into the brain, please let me know. But
Excellent.
I'm excited to join y'all and see y'all out there. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for putting your email in the chat there. The next agenda item is dumping. Of course, it's that time of year, brush and bulky. But I don't know if Casey's here or if anybody else was going to talk about that. Fast. You got any insights?
Casey is not here.
Yeah.
So I don't, I think the motion that Casey was going to bring was the idea of writing a letter to try and get some help with that. So I guess I just want to open up to the floor and see, is this a thing that people are experiencing trouble with? And is it a thing we want to take on as an org?
Well, I will speak personally. You know, before brush and bulky, there's always like, I feel like even 2 months before the date, things start to accumulate. And certainly there's some nuisances with that. I've driven over a bunch of screws in the neighborhood and had to get my tires patched a few times. And I blame this effect right now. But, you know, I don't know. I don't have strong feelings one way or another. I just kind of treat it as a reality. Tim, looks like you got something to say.
I think brush and bulky is the greatest service that the city of Tucson offers us, and I am blessed twice a year with this. And not only twice a year are you blessed with this great opportunity that the city of Tucson offers us, is you can do a special brush and bulky pickup anytime, and it's the most cost-effective thing in the world. And it, you know, so I think it's like $55 for 10 yards or something incredible like that. It's the most cost-effective thing. I also believe that the service is abused completely. People start putting out their junk. My son lives over in Barrio Anita, and he's over on Van Alstine, and other folks outside, maybe within the neighborhood, but outside of the neighborhood, abuse it and come in and dump their waste. Like I also know that, I did sort of follow the thing on the thread email chain, and that sounds like a neighbor to neighbor issue sort of thing, but maybe I'm mistaken. I live over here on the edges of humanity in kind of industrial TEP wasteland. And so people do, there's a lot of construction activity, and they use that as a dumping staging place for the construction projects and road projects. But, I have on occasion chased folks off who are dumping their yard waste. The most recent one I tracked back over across Main Street over near the Splinter Brother warehouse. And then I was like, well, what am I going to do with this person? I already confronted them there, but, and I was like, okay, no reason to get all road ragey on this. But so I understand the frustration of the abuse, but with great power comes great responsibility, or with great, city services comes abuse. And I don't know that there's any great, I think, yeah. So, and I don't know all the details about the problem over on Alder, but it kind of seemed like that's a neighbor communication issue. And I don't know if that's a neighborhood association thing to get involved with, because I don't know, I don't know how that gets handled. So, yeah.
Go fast.
It looks like, I just looked it up. It looks like Brush and Bulky's next Monday, if I have that right.
Yeah,
So I
the
think,
week is next week. Yeah.
yeah, I think that a good course of action for us would be to see how it looks after this month, and maybe take it up in August if we need to.
Yeah, I think that sounds prudent. And I just piggybacking on Tim, my only other editorial comment is I'd love to see what disappears before the Brush and Bulky pickup. It's like some sort of magical reuse thing happening. So anyway, Karen.
Just an FYI, I think there are two different things that are happening on Alder. I think there's, like a neighbor just dumping their stuff. But then I also think that, so I got a call from someone who lives in the neighborhood. Her brother, who lives in California, owns one of those vacant lots. So he's not here to watch, that where stuff is getting dumped. So he's not here to watch it, and he doesn't want it. He has to get rid of the stuff too. So I think that's another piece to this that is happening. It's both internal and external, but at least one of the neighbors of the vacant lots is not happy about it, but he's not physically here, and he's not right, and I told her to actually call the ward office. So I'm not sure if she did or not.
Cool.
And just a quick note, I don't, some of that dumping up there, I don't think is actually specifically related to Brush and Bulky at all. It's just people dumping their stuff from a house nearby because they don't want it, not because they think it's going to be picked up by Brush and Bulky necessarily. Just for clarification.
That's a good clarification. Will it get picked up by Brush and Bulky is my question, because that's a nice coincidence.
Probably.
Natasha.
So the alley west of Alder is atrocious. It's definitely used as a dumping ground. You can't even barely walk through it. There's one of the same neighbors that's being accused of putting stuff out there also throws stuff out their back into the alley. I mean, I've seen everything you can imagine in that alley. originate borders it. So it used to be drivable. It is no longer drivable. So I kind of agree more with Casey than you guys agree, just because I'm on that part of the neighborhood and I see it on a daily basis, what's happening. And it's really not a brush and bulky thing. It happens way, I don't know, months before, like not even 1 month before, let's say 3 to 4 months before stuff starts accumulating. So I actually think it's something that, I don't know if the ward office or environmental services ever does warnings, but to me, it seems like it's something that does need to be brought up because it's happening in both alleys, the alley to the east and the alley to the west of Alder, and it's happening along the street on Alder. So people who aren't in that part of the neighborhood probably don't realize how bad it is.
Well, that's a good clarification, Natasha. Maybe we keep this on the agenda for next month. You know, obviously the brush and bulky stuff will get picked up. I think it would be great to hear from Casey also. We go from there. All right, the next agenda item, I'm not sure if we need to revisit this 11th Avenue project in that committee. I think we had a pretty good discussion on that, and for the sake of time, I'm going to jump down to the DNARC approach update. Karen,
Yeah, we had
you
a
want to run
really,
through that?
yeah, we had a really interesting presentation from the homing project. So this is a group that they're getting pallet houses. They have some land donated to them near the El Pueblo Center. And so they're hoping to put up 30 pallet houses that folks can live in. When they say temporarily, they mean probably 2 years until there's housing available. So it's a tiny, tiny, tiny house. It's like 65 feet. But it's a place, it locks, it's a place for your stuff. It has air conditioning, it has cooling. Then there are communal bathrooms, laundry, kitchen. And the idea is that if you're going to live in this community, that you're going to be part of the community and you're going to help with cooking and stuff like that. There will be 24/7 security. They will have on-site medical, substance abuse